Namaste, and once again welcome back to another session of online mathematics class. Today we are going to start a new chapter, integrals of NCERT class 12 mathematics test. Integral calculus is motivated by the problem of solving and calculating the area of the region bounded by the graph of the functions. If a function f is differentiable in an interval I, that is its derivative f dash exists at each point of I, then a natural question arises that given f dash at each point on I, can we determine the function? The functions that could possibly have given function as a derivative are called antiderivatives or primitive of the function. Further, the formula that gives all these antiderivatives is called the indefinite integral of the function, and such process of finding antiderivatives is called integration. The development of integral calculus arises out of the efforts of solving the problems of the following types. First one is the problem of finding a function whether its derivative is given. Second one is the problem of finding the area bounded by the graph of a function under certain conditions. These two problems lead to the two forms of integrals, that is indefinite integrals and definite integrals, which together constitute the integral calculus. Okay, there is a connection known as fundamental theorem of calculus between indefinite integral and definite integral, which makes the definite integral as a practical tool for science and engineering. The definite integral is also used to solve many interesting problems from various disciplines like economics, finance, and probability. In this chapter, we shall confine ourselves to study of indefinite and definite integrals and their elementary properties, including some techniques of integration. Integration is the inverse process of differentiation. Instead of differentiating a function, we are given the derivative of a function and asked to find its primitive, that is the original function. Such process is called integration or anti-differentiation. Let us consider some examples. We know that derivative of sin x is equal to cos x, and derivative of dy dx of x cube by 3 is equal to what? 1 by 3 into 3x square. 3 and 3 cancel, we get x square. And derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x. Okay. In the first example, we observed that cos x is the derived function of sin x. So we can say sin x is the antiderivative of cos x. And similarly, in the second one, x square is the derivative of x cube by 3. So we can conclude x cube by 3 is the antiderivative of x square. And in the third example, derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x itself. So we can say in the reverse order, e raised to x is the antiderivative of e raised to x or integral of e raised to x. Okay, that is why we are saying differentiation and integration are opposite process, reverse operations. Okay. Now one more thing is, if we find the derivative of sin x plus some arbitrary constant c, which gives derivative of sin x is cos x and derivative of a constant is 0. So here we can say sin x plus c is the antiderivative or integral of cos x. And similarly in the second one, if we find the derivative of x cube by 3 plus c, in this situation also we will get the value as x square because derivative of a constant is 0. And here also dy dx of e raised to x plus c, which gives e raised to x itself. So from this, what we can conclude is the antiderivatives or the integrals of the above cited functions are not unique. Actually, there exist infinitely many antiderivatives of each of these functions which can be obtained by changing c arbitrarily from the set of real numbers. For this reason, c is referred to as arbitrary constant. More generally, if there is a function capital F such that d by dx of capital F of x is equal to small f of x for all x belongs to I means in a particular interval, then for any arbitrary real number c, we can write d by dx of f of x plus c, which is equal to f of x. Okay, and c is also called integrating constant or constant of integration. Here c is a arbitrary constant. C is also known as integrating constant or the constant of integration. And one thing you have to remember is functions with the same derivatives differ by a constant. I repeat, functions with the same derivatives differ by a constant. Okay. Here we introduce a new symbol for integration. Elongated S is used to denote the symbol for integration. We draw like this. So this symbol is used to denote integral. Okay, integral of a function. We can write it as integral f of x dx. Integral f of x dx means integrate the function f of x with respect to x. So symbolically we can write integral f of x dx is equal to capital F of x plus integrating constant c. Okay. Now you have to know some important symbols, terms and phrases and their meaning. Okay. One is integral f of x dx. The meaning of this one is integral of the function f with respect to x. Okay. We read it as integral f of x dx. Meaning is integral or the antiderivative of the function f with respect to the variable x. Second one is f of x in integral f of x. F of x in integral f of x is known as integrand. Okay, integrand means the function we have to integrate. Okay, that is called the integrand. Next is x in integral f of x. It is called the variable of integration. Okay, x is the variable of integration. Integrate. This phrase meaning find the integral. So integrate meaning find the integral. Next one is an integral of f. That means a function capital F such that f dash of x is equal to f of x. Okay. Integration. Integration is the process of finding the integral or antiderivative. Integration is the process of finding the integral or the antiderivative. Next one is constant of integration. Any real number c considered as constant function. We can use any real number, let it be c. Okay, normally we use the letter c to denote what? Constant of integration or integrating constant. It is an arbitrary constant. It can be any real number. Next, you have to learn some important formulas in integration. Let us discuss the formulas. First one is integral x raised to n dx. Integral x raised to n, that means polynomial form. Integral x raised to n dx equal to x raised to n plus 1 divided by n plus 1, where n is not equal to minus 1. If n equal to minus 1, what happen? The denominator become 0. That's why the condition is given as n is not equal to minus 1. So integral x raised to n dx equal to x raised to n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. For example, integral x cube dx, that is x raised to 3 plus 1 divided by 3 plus 1 plus integrating constant c, that is x raised to 4 by 4 plus c. In the power, we have to add 1 and write that number on the denominator. Okay, if it is x raised to 7, x raised to 8 by 8. If it is x raised to minus 2, or we can write x raised to minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1. If it is x raised to 1 by 2, then we can write x raised to 1 by 2 plus 1 divided by 1 by 2 plus 1 and so on. Okay. Next is integral dx. Integral dx is equal to x plus c. Okay. Then integral 1 by x dx. Integral 1 by x dx is equal to log mod x plus c. Then integral e raised to x dx, which is equal to e raised to x itself, e raised to x plus c. Then integral a raised to x dx is equal to a raised to x divided by log a plus c. Next is related to trigonometry. Integral sin x dx. Integral sin x dx is equal to minus cos x plus c. Integral cos x dx is equal to sin x plus c. Integral sec square x dx is equal to tan x plus c. Integral cosec square x dx is equal to minus cot x plus c. Then integral sec x tan x, sec x into tan x dx is equal to sec x plus c. Then integral cosec x into cot x dx is equal to minus cosec x plus c. Okay, so these are the reverse form of the formulas we have already learned in differentiation. Okay, for example, derivative of tan x is sec square x, derivative of sin x is cos x. Okay, so here it is the reverse process. Okay, integral cos x is sin x, derivative of sin x is cos x, integral sec square x is tan x, derivative of tan x is what? Sec square x. Okay. Next are some formulas related to inverse trigonometric functions. Integral 1 by root of 1 minus x square dx. We know the derivative of sin inverse x is what? 1 by root of 1 minus x square. So the integral of 1 by root 1 minus x square dx equal to sin inverse x plus c. Okay. Then what is the derivative of cos inverse x? It is nothing but minus 1 by root of 1 minus x square. So minus 1 by root of 1 minus x square dx is equal to cos inverse x plus c. Similarly, we can write all the other formulas. Integral 1 by 1 plus x square dx. It is the derivative of tan inverse x. So the answer is tan inverse x plus c. Then integral minus 1 by 1 plus x square dx, which is equal to cot inverse x plus c. Then integral 1 by x root x square minus 1 dx, which is equal to sec inverse x plus c. And integral minus 1 by x root x square minus 1 dx is equal to cosec inverse x plus c. Okay. So these are the basic formulas you have to learn in the beginning of this chapter. Okay. So the main points are, what is integration? Integration is the reverse process of differentiation. That means we are given the derivative of a function and we are asked to find the primitive or the original function. The process of finding the antiderivative of the function is known as integration or anti-differentiation. And the symbol used to denote integrate is elongated S. That symbol is used to denote integral. And the most important point is the antiderivatives or the integrals of a function is not unique. They may differ by a constant. We can say infinite number of antiderivatives for a particular function. These all are differ by a constant. That's why we add a constant c, arbitrary constant, and it is otherwise called integrating constant or constant of integration. Okay, you have to learn all the formulas thoroughly, then only you can do the problems without any difficulties. Okay, in the next video, we will discuss exercise 7.1 of NCERT class 12 mathematics test. So thanks for watching. Thank you.